speaker is John Maddeson, and John's going to say something about the conservation issues raised on the site, and something he's very well placed to do, having a background in architectural history, and having produced a magisterial conservation management plan for the site, together with our fellow Merlin Waterson.
Well, growing numbers of visitors at Kelmscott reflect intense public interest in Morris and in the house that he called Heaven on Earth. These visits underpin its long-term survival, both financially and by engendering support and understanding. But they have to be managed so that the piece of Kelmscott, its rural environment and its precious collections can be fully experienced and enjoyed by everyone in perpetuity. Morris's products may have been bought by the rich, but his core ideas and beliefs were much more inclusive. I was going to say that Morris is not interested in elites, but the term is so loaded politically now, it's an extremely dangerous thing to do. But I think Morris would not have seen the point of preserving Kelmscott for a relatively small number of enthusiasts like us. He wanted to change the society of his day, and ours no doubt, and to improve the life experience of a broad mass of people. So I think Morris would have wanted the people in Swindon, school children and so on, to learn to love the churches of the Cotswolds and feel that they were somehow theirs. And that's something which I hope that we might be able to achieve through perhaps broadening our visitor base at Kelmscott, and as has been explained by previous speakers, our whole approach to the way in which we show it. The HLF indeed has asked us for a significant increase in visitor numbers as a condition of its grant, and that's fair enough because it involves the award of a great deal of public money. And I don't think it will be especially challenging to raise the visitor numbers because of the great love that people already have for Kelmscott. Our opening days are extremely restricted, Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's slightly bizarre. It's a sort of historical arrangement that has gradually increased from, I think, 6 days a year in the early days. The real challenge is how that increase can be absorbed safely so that the peace and beauty of Kelmscott is not lost. So more days, yes, more opening days, which will reduce the sense of crisis that we sometimes have on busy days at Kelmscott. We want to spread people across the site to see parts of the site that they don't see today, and we've already begun that in a way by trying to interest them in the village, which is indeed, as we've heard, very interesting. Our car parking is on the periphery, and with a little shuttle service we can now start to remove traffic from the area around the house itself, which really spoils the view of the meadow and the farmyard. So I think there are opportunities to make the visit rewarding in spite of the increased numbers that will then be going to Kelmscott at the end of our project. The project that we're launching today is indeed concerned to combine conservation, access and understanding in a mutually beneficial relationship. The property has been gradually adapting over the last half century, and in many ways we've already reached a critical point. We've certainly reached quite a critical point in terms of repairs. The house needs a good deal of work now. It had a splendid repair job done in the 1960s by Donald Insall's firm. But you have to keep up with repairs on a house of this date. It always requires continual care. And the farm buildings, some of the more distant ones, are getting into quite an alarming state. The one on the screen is the field barn, which lies out in the meadow to the, I suppose it's the west of the house, sorry. And it is really in quite a perilous state. It's lovely to go into because it's beautifully neglected in a way. I shouldn't perhaps admit, but we had many other priorities at Kelmscott, and we've done a bit of patching and making do, but this one now really needs a major job. As you can see, it's used for various kinds of storage, including the gardener's store. The presentation of the house hasn't really changed significantly since the 1960s. Working conditions for the property staff have become inadequate, and visitor facilities can hardly manage on busy days. All that having been said, the feedback from visitors is overwhelmingly positive. tribute to the innate beauty and interest of the property and to the personal qualities of the staff and volunteers. Well, what we have on the screen at the moment is E.H. New's view of Kelmscott in about 1900, and it enables us to take stock of the property. Down here, I'll use the cursor to point these things out, is the South Road barn, which is a rather underused building at the moment, where there's an exhibition, and sometimes it's used as an auditorium. And then here's the stable barn, which accommodates, it's rather full of things actually, it accommodates the restaurant in the middle, and the gents' loos at this end, and the ladies' loos behind the trees here at the south end. We have to deal with these matters. They are fundamental to visitor happiness. This farmyard here is now full of parked cars. There's the house, of course, and up here, just off to the edge of the picture, is the north barn, which is currently used for storage of agricultural equipment and various other things. That's the barn that I've just shown you a photograph of, there hidden by trees in New's view. The house, of course, is largely showrooms. The custodians long ago, well, about 2 or 3 years ago, moved out to the cottage just here, which has released some rooms, as I'll be showing you. And in this wing here, the former service wing of the house, there's a very cramped office for the property staff and a showroom at the end here, a brew house. Really, that's more or less what, as seen there by New, is what survives today. There has been, there have been 2 major losses. One is the thatched bar, which you can see just here, on that side of the farmyard, and down here amongst the trees, some piggeries. Well, now we're now looking across the farmyard, and you can see the 2 lost buildings. Here is the byre that runs up to the stable barn where the tea room is now, and here is really quite a substantial structure, the piggeries leaning against the south barn. Well, I'll come back to those 2 buildings because they are one of the keys to the improvement of the visitor facilities at the property.